Okay, could you spell your first and last name for me, sir?
Lejonbrown. When I first grew up, it was, all good or whatever. And I can remember, going to school and graduating preschool and first grade and elementary school. But it's just like when I started to get older, I had to really learn how to be my own person, because if I didn't be my own person, then I wasn't gonna get anywhere in life.
During this time, we also did a lot of moving. We moved from one apartment complex to another almost once every 2 years. It seems as if we moved to another city every time.
And like I had said before, my mom, she was around, but sometimes she wasn't around, so I had to learn things on my own. And I started making money at a young age. I was 12 years old shoveling snow. I was probably the only 12-year-old making $120 every time it snowed, but I loved that part of it. I ended up getting ready to go to high school. And once I got ready to graduate, my mom was kind of, real iffy and upset at me all the time. So once I graduated from high school, she basically told me, don't ask her for nothing else. And once she told me that, I just started making money. And before, me and my mom, we would really bump heads. And it became a time where I had to move out, and we didn't really have nice words for each other. It was even a time where I was working, going to school and, dropping them off. I'd be in school, I'd get out of school, go right to work, and then I'd get off of work and have to come home and go right to sleep to be up to go to class the next morning. Growing up in that kind of situation, it helped me a lot, because now that I look at what I have accomplished as today, it's like, I really, really appreciate it because of the type of person that I am. I'm not a disrespectful person. I have great work ethics. I know how to manage my money very well. I'm happy of the person that I am today. In some cases, it kind of hindered me a little bit by not being able to save up for what reason I'm going through now, not have so much of a hard workload now, Like, it's some situations where I could be saving money versus giving them money, or, letting them do things, and then it'll help me in the long run. So I have to do a lot now, because I'm, still doing a lot to this day, paying off extra bills and, still trying to get things at a pace where it's not so much as, you got to work to pay this off and work to pay that off, just work to have money. I think my turning point was when my mom just gave up. We were at a point of getting kicked out of our home, and my mom just didn't want it at all anymore, and he kept giving us options to keep the house. My mother at the time was like, I don't want it, I want to move. But at the same time, me and my stepdad, we were trying to tell her, like, well, if we don't have the house, where we gonna go? And she was like, we'll figure it out. So we ended up moving from the house, and then we became not technically homeless, but we weren't in the state where we needed to be. I'm in a hotel room with 6, people, and I can't, it just didn't feel right. I had to make that point where I had to leave the nest. So I think that was a real turning point when I became pre-homeless. And like I told you before too, me and my mom didn't get along after that, because me and my fiance at the time now, we were trying to get our own place. And then my mom would always say things to me like, you getting out, you don't have to worry about it, you good, It's something that you don't have to worry about anymore. And I felt that was a little, not so much hatred, but it was, taking shots. And I think that was at the time where I just drew the line. She's another reason what pushed me on, because we couldn't have our privacy, And it was another aspect of me moving out with her, because we couldn't do things that we wanted to do, as far as going out when we wanted and, coming over and stuff. Me and my fiance first got our apartment. I remember going to work that day, and my dad, he was just, telling me this and telling me that. I couldn't wait to get home that night. It was me and her just by herself, and it wasn't no kids, and it was just me and her. But the success on the good end is I'm doing very good now, and I learned a lot of things from that. So I'm, really happy to be where I am today, and not, out doing something bad out of the situation, or it drove me to a dead end road where I'm doing something I don't need to be doing.